Hello and welcome to the Flourishing Introvert Talks with me, Jo Rawbone. This is the podcast that celebrates the natural gifts of introverts so that we can flourish in all situations. Episode 293, The Introverts Conference Playbook. Wherever you reside and work, there comes a time of year held with varying amounts of dismay, known as conference season. If you're in the UK and follow politics, however distantly, you'll know the autumn is one such season. And for those in other regions around the globe, you'll know when those conference centres and large hotels are awash with visiting dignitaries, wannabe influencers and podium playlists, often from the 80s or 90s. What is also true is that for many introverts, conferences are their idea of hell. And I'm not just talking about political conferences. The jostle to get registered, the search for a seat where you're not hemmed in, the bad coffee and the communal grazing with your hands full, it's sensory overload. And then some. The noise, the networking, the numb posteriors all end up feeling like a war on our senses. Well, that's true for me anyway. How about you? The conundrum, I realised, is that conferences can be great places to hear the latest research or meet the thought leaders that get your little grey cells whirring, leading to generative thinking. That's compelling for those of us who like to stay ahead of the curve and involve ourselves in honest, enriching debate. But on the other hand, depending on the type of conference, it may just be a parade of soundbite merchants angling for the popular vote and the standing ovation, but saying very little that's new or progressive. Then there are the supposedly upbeat anthems that welcome them on stage, like "Don't Stop Me Now" or "The Only Way Is Up," or even "Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger." Anyone who has seen a grey, starchy politician or business leader awkwardly grooving along as they walk onto the stage is unlikely to erase that image from their memory. And if you had, I bet I've planted it back there for you, haven't I? Sorry about that. What were those leaders thinking, and who advised them that it was a good idea? Any strategist who suggests that it'll make you seem like one of the people is so out of touch. And credibility, damage limitation needed by the bucket load. I've heard all of the conference songs and cringe every time at the artificial hype being whipped up. The one I sung along to most expressively was "That Don't Impress Me Much," and I can still picture the scene to this day. And being hard to impress is the legacy of emerging from my pretending to be an extrovert era. And that aspect is proving to be particularly useful. As you might imagine, having maybe been in a similar position yourself, whilst those cringe-worthy spectacles give us plenty of eye-roll opportunities, it confirms one thing beyond any doubt. Traditional conferences are designed with extroverts in mind, whoever they are designed by. And that's where our challenge begins. Anyway, I can do the former, those rich idea type conferences, quite comfortably, but the latter, those events designed with extroverts in mind, where forced fun is the plat du jour, someone save me from that interminable agony. Of course, the easy way out come conference season is to decline to attend at all. A reasonable option, you might think. But whilst that might be perceived as career limiting, it's also denying yourself the opportunity to interact with fine minds. So it's hardly the win-win outcome. I, like many other introverts who wanted to or needed to attend work-based or interest-based conferences, found our own way of managing our state through the 2 or 3 or 4 day ordeal. And yes, even with a great plan of action, it can still be an ordeal, and I don't mind admitting that. The good news is that we can conference our way with intention and with our well-being front and centre of our strategy. That way, we'll still come home pretty shattered, but feeling like we've been more in control, having exercised personal agency. So instead of sitting conferences out or suffering them like a punishment or school detention, let's rewrite the conference playbook for we introverts. I'm going to share my plan with you, and whilst there's probably nothing new here or anything that you haven't already considered or done yourself, I gift you more than the plan. I'm gifting you a permission slip from me to you with a generous dose of authenticity to do what you need to do without any trace of guilt. And as an added bonus, you'll have an answer for any smart ass who says, I saw you slip out early, or I didn't see you at the such and such event. Always so gratifying. As ever, take what you need and or use it as a starting point around which to build your own playbook. Ready? Here are my 7 strategic plays. Number 1, plan well in advance what you will attend and be really clear on why. Knowing your why for the whole conference and the individual sessions means you're less likely to be persuaded to change your mind as the hype builds and the pressure increases. Number 2, pre-charge several days in advance and in accordance with the type and duration of the conference. You already have your own rituals, and if you don't, now is a good time to get them clearly defined. Number 3, spend a bit of time to suss out the venue, the quiet spaces, the empty stairwells, so when you need them, you know exactly where you're headed and can walk with purpose, not with your head down in your phone or looking around helplessly. Number 4, retreat in order to conduct a little top-up recharge before the sessions that really interest you, the ones where you may grow and that align with your why. My brilliant battery boosters are fantastic for this purpose, and if that means leaving the session before a little early, so be it. Number 5, arrange one-to-one meetings with fellow delegates and speakers who you want to have meaningful conversations with. This may mean mingling during the breaks to purposefully overhear which conversations may be valuable to you. This is definitely a case of quality over quantity. Number 6, make notes as you go from both the sessions and the one-to-one meetings. As we become more overwhelmed, our memory becomes less reliable and it can invite unnecessary stress trying to remember something that you wanted to follow up on. Finally, number 7, recharge fully at the end of the conference. It's best not to have a busy work schedule for a few days afterwards, so take care of that as soon as you book your place. The extroverts will be full of it and may want to pick over the bones straight afterwards, but allow yourself time to reflect, organise your thoughts and be re-energised. There's always plenty of time. So, just as with many things in life, the art here is to conference your way. Let others do their thing and you do your thing. When we do our thing with confidence, presence, and a certain self-assurance, we model to all those other quiet ones that you can have your cake and eat it. Want to attend? Do it your way. Want to slip out early for a quick battery booster? Do it with an air of certainty. Want to dine on your own after the busy days? Do it and decline politely anyone who asks if they can join you. In fact, if you've ever left a conference feeling like someone unplugged your batteries, grab my brilliant battery boosters now. They are short, powerful resets for introverts who want to keep their spark without faking the energy. You'll find the link in the show notes, and you're welcome. The truth is, the world doesn't need more awkward dancing queens at conference. It needs those who are there to explore what's being proposed so they can assess if it aligns with how they are making a difference in the world. Permission slip granted. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, then please subscribe, rate us and leave a comment, because we know that helps other people find the podcast. And if other people find us, other introverts can flourish.
You are listening to an Intentional Media Production podcast.